What's up, everybody, and welcome to another JavaScript Nuggets video where we cover interesting JavaScript topics in great detail. And in this video, we'll learn how to get only unique values from array. More specifically, how to do it using ES6 one-liner, since of course there are multiple ways how we can achieve that. Now, if you're wondering where would you use that, we used it in our menu project where we have, of course, the categories, and then I would want to display only the unique ones. And also we were doing the same setup in the course project when we were building e-commerce, where we had a bunch of products. And then of course, each and every product had a company. And again, we just got the unique company. So once we navigate back to our project, I have the array, and the name of the array is menu. And then I have quite a few items. Each and every item is an object. Now in the object, I have two properties. I have the name property, which of course reflects the name of the item, and also the category to which the item belongs to. And then I believe I have 3 breakfasts, I have 1 lunch, and then 2 dinners. So now what I would want to get is only the unique categories, meaning I would want to get only 1 breakfast, lunch, and dinner, as well as I would want to add that all. And then of course I would want to iterate over them and display them as buttons. And we would need to start by iterating over them. So let's do that. I'm going to go with const. I'll set up a new variable, and I'm going to call this categories, and that is going to be equal to a menu. And then, like I said, we'll use map. And then as we're iterating over, I only would want to return those categories. So we know that we can access each and every item in our callback function as a parameter. So in here, I'm going to say item. And then of course, since the property name is category, that is what I'm returning. So if I'll console log, of course, I'll see that I'm getting all the categories, which is nice. But of course, I only would want to get unique ones. So how do we do that? Well, we can use set. So ES6 introduced a data structure by the name of set. And what happens with set? It only returns unique values. So what I could do here is say new and then set, and then just pass in my array that I'm returning from the map. And now if I'll take a look at the categories, you'll notice that I'm only getting the unique values here in my object. Now the problem right now is that it is an object. So how do I turn this back into array? And I simply would need to use a spread operator, and then of course pass it in the array. So what I could do here is say, yeah, categories are going to be equal to a new array, and I'll spread out my set. So what I'm going to do right now is just grab all the code that I already have and then pass it here in the array. So once I do that, notice now, of course, I have only unique categories. And then, of course, I have the array, which is exactly what I wanted. And then I can add my category of all, either up front or at the end of my array. So I'm going to go up front. And please keep in mind that you can, of course, add as many items as you would want. I'm just adding all. And now, of course, I have my array that has 4 items. I have all and all the unique categories. And the only thing that's left to do is iterate over my array and then return a button. So if I take a look at my index.html, I already have the div with a class of result. So I guess I'll have to start by targeting that div. So I'm just going to say that const result is equal to a document, then query selector. Now I'm looking for the class of result. And once I've got that, I just need to make sure that I set up the inner HTML. So I go with inner HTML of the result, and that is going to be equal to a category. So now again, we'll iterate over our categories, but then for each and every category, we will return a button. So we go with map, and then of course, again, we have a callback function. And this time I'll call this a category. And then for each and every iteration, I would want to return, and I'll use a template string. So here I'll go with a button, and then of course I'll close out the button as well. And then inside the button, this is where I would want to set up my category. So it's going to start with all the way to a dinner. Now the thing is that at the moment we're returning a array. So that's why we can see those commas in between. So we would need to quickly turn that into a string and make sure that the separator is an empty string, and then we'll avoid those commas. Now that's how we can get only the unique values from the array using the ES6 one-liner, where again, we use the map method, we get that specific property or item, then we use set to turn it into only unique values, And of course, in order to turn set back into the array, we just use a spread operator.